Welcome back to another episode of the Off the Clock podcast. I'm your host, Mark Ross, and today we have yet another interview for you all. But before we get into that, make sure to follow me on X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. All the social medias will be down in the description below, guys. All right, so y'all go ahead and follow those because I am on a 100-day content challenge that we are past 65 days, man. At this point, we are past 65, and we just got 30-something more days left, all right? That's it. So by the time you're watching this video, go to the description below. Go follow all my socials. All right, the main ones where they get posted on is Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. All right, X is mainly for updates on new shows or new podcast episodes. But go follow my journey, guys. All right, trust me. Go follow my journey. It's been very fun, and y'all might enjoy it. All right. Also, before we get into this week's episode, go ahead and check out Monday's show with our first flag football athlete, and it was a great conversation. We had so much fun. It was a great talk, great getting to know her. It was Warner University's very own Jessica Finley. So y'all go ahead and check out that episode because it was truly a great one. So I'm glad I was able to have her on my show. But now let's get into this Friday's episode. All right. It is with a player who's been making her name around in the NFL flag football scene. All right, she's been making her name in the NFL flag football community. She represented the Kansas City Chiefs, all right, in a flag football competition. So, guys, she was at Baker University, now transferring to Thomas University. It is the one, the only, Jordyn Woodward. All right, so, guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and enjoy this episode. Let's go. Yes.
Yeah, off the clock, never needed no wristwatch. Toast up, cheers to life, but this ain't no pit stop. Hey, my words don't get you to the top. Speak life into the mic like Mike at 90, pass me the rock. My words will touch thousands on the block, without a doubt, but she's a reassurance on me, we lie. Hey, off the clock, baby, but we tuned in, dialed in. Feel like Cat, how we always winning, man. It's up.
All right, Jordyn Woodward. Is that how you say it? Am I saying your last name right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Jordyn, thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you taking the time so far to join me. As we first texted, I mentioned that this is something I'm wanting to get into more, the flag football community, because I think it's a huge community that I've, as of late, looking into it more. There's so many people who show so much support for this community, and so I think it's only right to start at least helping show out some, maybe bring out some names to people who wouldn't see it otherwise. So I appreciate you taking the time to join.
Of course, I'm glad to be here.
And so the first thing I wanted to talk about is just your early life. When was it that you first got into sports? What was the age you were that you first started playing your first sport?
So I first started sports. I started dancing when I was really young. I started off in ballet. And then while I was in pre-K or kindergarten, around that age, I also started doing martial arts. And I ended up quitting ballet and continuing with the martial arts to get my second degree black belt. And then shortly after that, I kind of got bored of it. I had just told my parents, like, I'll continue until I get my black belt, and then I want to stop. I want to do something else. So around age 9, I wasn't doing anything. My dad was like, okay, if you're gonna quit this, I want you to be in a sport. So I was like, okay. So my younger brother at the time, he's 16 now. He was in Pee Wee football, and I went to one of his games one time, and I was like, I want to play football. So obviously my dad, as I was getting older, he didn't want me being with bigger kids, with boys, because the growth rates are very different. So I started off playing flag because one of the boys that I grew up with, his dad was a coach, and they had a team. So I joined the team. My very first practice, I came out and I tackled the kid while we were while we were doing a flag pulling drill because I was just so used to watching my brother. So,
You're so
and
used to
then
watching tackle football, you thought that's what you had to do.
yeah, I dropped my shoulder and I laid him out, and yep, that was my first practice with the boys.
And so, do you still can you still fight a little bit now? Do you still have that martial arts in you? You need to fight. You could fight.
Yes. If I needed to fight, I could fight. I did that for years, and there wasn't many girls in the place at the place that I attended.
Mhm.
So I was always fighting boys, mostly older boys. I was like 13, 14, fighting almost 17-year-olds. So
Dang,
yeah.
how fun was that? How fun was doing the martial arts?
Um, it was fun. But it would definitely get scary sometimes because they were bigger, stronger, faster.
Mhm.
So those few times where I would get hit in my head or whatever, I would definitely get overwhelmed. But once I started to pick up the pace, it got more fun when it started to even out some more.
And so you mentioned that you had a younger brother. Are you the oldest? Is it only you two in the family?
Yes, so I am the first and only girl in 6 generations in my family.
Holy crap!
Yes,
It's taken a while, but now they got you.
they got me finally, yeah.
And so, is sports always huge? Has sports always been huge in the household?
Yes. My dad, he grew up playing all different kind of sports, but baseball was his main thing. Um, my mom did a few sports, but she was a dancer
Mhm.
in her college, and then my younger brother, he plays baseball.
And so, because your mom did a little bit of dancing, is that where the dancing came early on for you?
I think so. I think every little girl for the most part just always somehow gets into ballet. So then after ballet, I know that I did do dancing in middle school. But I just kind of got bored of that. It wasn't really my thing. And so, of course, my mom was upset because she wanted me to be a dancer and my dad wanted me to play softball.
Oh yeah, that's the next question I was gonna ask. Did you ever get into some softball since you said your dad's main sport was baseball?
I never did. The only sports that I've played has been flag football. I played basketball a little bit, which maybe I shouldn't have. And
That's a
then
time that you might like to forget.
yeah, I mean the offensive side, mm-mm. But I was pretty good on defense, which is what I do now. So I feel like it kind of translates over like pretty well.
Mhm.
So I think it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't really my thing. And then I also did track since middle school.
And what'd you do in track?
I ran the 100, 200. I did relays and I threw discus. And I also did a little bit of high jump.
And out of track, what obviously flag football is probably still your favorite sport, but what would be in the second spot?
I would say track. Track was
Right.
definitely fun. Um, I think going out and going to all the different meets and everything, seeing my friends at different meets who also was in track, racing. I love racing, but I don't like running.
you
That was
you
my
like
main
if you're
thing.
going up against someone, but if you're just out there alone, like,
Yeah,
don't want to do that.
it's dreadful.
And so, were you playing flag football through the school, or were you just going through a club that you all were playing with?
So, in Texas, in Austin, we have a select travel team, which is the shirt that I'm wearing right now. It's called
Hmm.
Texas Fury. I first started when I was about 10 years old. And in Texas, there have not been any high schools with flag teams versus like Florida, Georgia, or like New York, New Jersey, places like that.
Yes.
Those all have high school teams, but Texas hasn't caught on until more recently. Um, I want to say in like the Dallas area. either Dallas or San Antonio, something like that. They're starting to get it in high schools, and I know the high school that I graduated from finally made it a club sport, as well as like Round Rock High School or all the other ones that are in my area finally started to make it a club sport. So I think we're just waiting for them to make it an actual sanctioned sport in the schools.
Yeah, because yesterday I had which will be this interview. Now that we're talking, this interview will come out on Friday next week, as we're when we're recording. And then the interview that just will have come out on Monday, I just interviewed uh Jessica Finley. She's from Warner University.
Yes, I
I
know that
just
name. I used to play against her.
Yeah, I just interviewed her yesterday actually. And so she was talking, because she's from Staten Island, how they actually have their high school had a football team also, as well as her playing on a travel team or a select
Mhm.
team.
Yes, she was one of the ones that Texas Fury and Staten Island Giants SIG, we've
Mhm.
been rivals for years. And so she's definitely one of the names that I do know from playing with or against her for many years. And then I also played against her this past nationals for college um while she was at Warner and I was at Baker.
Yes, I did see that also in the schedule that y'all played each other. Was it the y'all's final game of the season, right?
So it wasn't technically Warner is in the Sun Conference, which is like
Mhm.
the states in the South. I was in the KCAC, which is in the Midwest. So it wasn't a season game. It was for nationals where all the NAIA schools got together and played against each other.
Okay, so y'all end up facing them in the national tournament then?
Yes.
And how well, we'll get into that later. I want to continue talking about the Texas Fury. How has your time been playing for them?
It has been one of the biggest blessings of my life. I obviously started off playing with boys because there weren't any girls teams to my knowledge at the time. Until this one coach that I played for, Willis King, him and his son, or him and his father, they had a team, and I was starting to age out. And they were like, "Hey, we found this team. We want you to go try out for it because we think you'd be really good for like going over there." And so I went and I tried out, and it was. Do you know the name Ashley Clam?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's a name that you should
That's one to
know.
write down.
Yes.
Ashley Clam.
So yes, Ashley Clam, she's on the national team. She was up until this past US national team tryouts, she was the youngest to make the national team. Um and so I joined Texas Fury, and from there it was just a sisterhood. I was one of the first to join the team, and so I've been playing with them since I was 10 years old up until I graduated high school, and it's just been one of the best things. We still hang out to this day. We all text all the time. We on Sundays is the designated like Texas Fury practices, and so a lot of us will still go out there and we'll practice, help coach, all the things.
And how has it felt being a part of a community like that, a part of a group and an organization that seems to have like that family vibe to it?
It's been it's been like nothing anybody can really imagine. Um I call the coach that I played for, he's like my second father. I would go to him for anything. It really is like as if they were my blood.
Mhm.
It's just a big sisterhood, and it's crazy how much it's grown because we started off just having one team, and then there were obviously some older, some younger, so we had to split it into two. And now in originally it was 14s and 17s. That were the two teams that we had. Now we have 8s, 10s, 12s, 14s, uh 17s, like and even in the different age groups, we have like 12 red, 12 blue, 12 white, because there's so many people that are coming. And I think that in itself just shows how big and how special the organization is.
Yeah, I mean that's actually incredible that hearing the growth that it has had in probably such a short period also. It seems
It
like it's been growing so rapidly.
it sprung up really fast. I know I left for college, and obviously we had a big amount of girls there. And then I came back from college, and I go to one of the practices, and I'm like, "Oh my god, there's like 1,000 little girls here just running around that I've never seen before." And it was crazy to me.
And how has it been as a flag football athlete seeing the sport grow as much as it has as of late? It's really been put out there, pushed to the world a lot more. It's been put into the 2028 Olympics. How has it been seeing stuff like that happen to the flag football community?
It's been really exciting to watch. Obviously, I love the growth because the growth means more competition, more people coming in and showing what new things, or there's just so much that goes into it. I think the only downside of it is that the more that it grows, the more that it gives other people to hate on it. And it it's just really sad to see, honestly, because it's like people are just being very naive to the growth and the development and the amazing things that are happening. And it really is sad to see all the hateful comments, but at the end of the day, it's like this is a huge thing. I know I
Yeah.
wish that it was this huge whenever I was first starting off. Um, but it's been great to see. Um, I don't even know. It's just like it's so amazing to me that it's just like I'm at a loss of words.
Yeah, because like we had mentioned through text how I told you, like I don't understand why a lot of people want to hate on it because this is a way to start bringing more people involved into the sport, into football. It may not be full pads hitting each other, the collision all the time, but you still see some badass plays out there. You still
Hmm.
see some playmakers do some stuff out there, and I mean it's still fun and it's a way to get more people involved that probably wouldn't be able to if it was just tackle football every single time.
Yeah, I think a lot of the hate comes from a lot of people that are so close-minded because obviously tackle football has been around for years and years. And so obviously there's more people that are experienced with coaching that, with training for things like that. And people are very naive to the fact that flag football is something new. So if somebody who played tackle sees somebody playing flag and they're like, oh, they should have caught that ball, or oh, pulling a flag is so dumb, or whatever the comment may be, y'all have had so much more experience, so much more coaching because it's a more common thing.
Yeah.
Versus us, for the most part, are still trying to learn certain things. We're still trying to be taught stuff. We're still trying to teach stuff. We're still trying to get the hang of everything, especially for the younger girls as well. I know there's just been plenty of videos that I've seen of people when they could be getting a pick, they deflect the pass. And it's like, it's just, it's a switch that needs to be made, but the hate isn't necessary because
Mm.
we're still learning, we're still growing the game.
And so another thing I want to talk about, you have, from what I saw, you played for you did an NFL flag football national, and you played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Is that correct?
Yes,
Or-
so the way that it works is a team, so Texas Fury, we went to Kansas City for a regional tournament, and since
Mhm.
we won, we played representing the Chiefs because we played there.
So how is that like? What is the process? Is it just a club just going to one of these events that are held, and then you play a tournament from there, and whoever wins is who represents that certain team?
Yeah, so they will have many tournaments like Houston, Kansas, New Orleans, wherever. And a bunch of teams will come, or sometimes I know there has been a time where we went to a tournament. I can't remember where it was. I want to say either Alabama or somewhere. But there was only it was us and one other team that showed up. And so we just kept having to play that team over and over and over. So sometimes it will be like that, or sometimes it will be like 20 teams that shows up and we're all just having to go and play. And then
Yeah.
yes, if you win, so for example, we played in Kansas City, we won, so we represented the Chiefs. And for any team that didn't win a regional, they'll have more regional tournaments for another team that lost to get another opportunity. And so if another team went to Houston, they'll represent the Texans. Because I know that we have represented multiple different NFL teams because we went to a lot of different regionals just to get qualified for nationals. And then while we're in nationals, we represent that team of the regional that we won.
And yeah, that's something I had been wondering this whole time. Like if it was those teams, maybe they have flag football representatives going out there and scouting and choosing some of the best. But that's something that I thought it might have also been just clubs going to only in those regions, like only in Houston. Clubs in Houston just stay there in Houston, or clubs in Kansas City stay in Kansas City. I didn't know that you guys will travel and go out there in other places.
So I think it's a little different for the people that don't necessarily have flag as commonly in the state. For us, we do have Houston regionals, but sometimes we wouldn't, or sometimes another team would qualify, or there wouldn't be enough teams to hold the tournament. So we would have to travel somewhere else versus a team that is in Kansas City. It's more common up there, or a team in Staten Island, it's more common up there, so they don't have to travel as much unless they wanted to. But for us it's kind of different because we don't have the same opportunities that they do in the other states.
And so competing in that regional tournament with your squad, what was that like? And ended up winning it. How was that?
um Honestly, it's definitely nerve-wracking whenever you're there, whenever it's just a bunch of nerves and excitement and all the people that are screaming on the sidelines and everything. It's so much going on, but the feeling afterwards, once you've put in all that hard work, the blood, sweat, tears, all of it, it's just such a relieving feeling to know that you came out on top, and you came out on top with a group of people that you wouldn't want to do it with anybody else. It's
Mm.
it's definitely fun. It's a very fun experience, especially getting to see the competition from other places, meet new people, make new friends, despite if they're an enemy on the field. I have a lot of people that on the field, obviously, yes, you're my opponent, but off the field, I have so much love for you. I have it's very fun because that's how it is in flag. Like there's no beefing really for the most part outside of the field, and it's just one big family because we're all trying to accomplish the same things. We're all trying to reach the same goal, whether it's for ourselves or for the future. And it makes it a lot of fun.
Are there some people that you play now, or that you've played now, that you've played a few times uh during a lot of these tournaments during your time with Texas Fury?
Yes, so Jess Finley, as you mentioned
Mhm.
earlier, we played her. I played her when she was at Warner, and I also played her when I was on Fury, and she was on SIG. Um, there's another one, Jade Moss. She also goes to Warner. Um, Honestly, there's been some teammates of mine from Texas Fury that I've had to play. So that was fun. Addie Sheelick, she goes to William Woods, which is also a school in the KCAC. It's in Missouri, and so I had to play her for actual in-season tournaments. So it's
Who won
definitely
that matchup?
fun. Hmm?
Who won that matchup?
I did. We won. But it was a lot of fun, although it does suck a little bit to go from being on a team that was like this was my family, these were my sisters, and now I'm having to play against them, and it just, for me, it's like I would give anything to be able to play with them some more. And I was actually talking with some Fury people the other day, saying that my old coach, Jason Clam, he should start like a college called like Fury University or something, so we could all just continue to play together.
And he'd be the coach for the team.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I would
And
love that.
so I wanted to go back to you guys win the regional and you guys represent Kansas City. Y'all represent the Chiefs. What is that feeling like? Where do you guys go after that to go play and everything like that?
So, after that, you go to nationals. There's like a period of weeks or months in between, and then you go to nationals. Nationals obviously it switches locations, but the most typical would always be Florida. We would go to Florida, Orlando. Um, there's obviously other nationals, but that was one of the main ones that we would go to. I can't remember after the Chiefs one where the Nationals was. Um, there's just been so many different places that I've traveled to so many different states. It all just blends into my mind. But yes, we'd go to Nationals after that, and then you would play a series of there would be pool play, which is just getting your ranking. And then after pool play would be bracket play, where it's a one and done kind of thing. So after that, um, obviously you go from uh, semifinals to quarterfinals to finals, and if you win, you win. And so I know last February, I believe we went and we won nationals. Um, and then there was another nationals that kind of wasn't expected, but then we had to go and we had to play the same team, and we ended up losing to the team that we previously beat. So that was heartbreaking because that nationals was actually our final nationals. Um, so it did suck, especially to leave off on that note and all separate and go to college on a note like that. But I'm just glad that I was able to do it with the same group of people, the same heart, the same passion, everything.
And was there ever a time, or when was the time during your club play where you realized like, hey, I can maybe take this and play collegiately with it? What was there a time where that finally clicked for you, or what was it for? Like,
Um, So we had a girl on our team. Her name is Addie Osborne. She goes to Ottawa University, and she was the oldest to graduate, and she was the first to graduate and to go off to college. And she was kind of the reason I think all of us were like, wow, like this is actually going to be happening. Like we can actually do this. And so she went and she was playing, and then we had another girl on our team, our rusher. Her name is Lauren Clark. She also went to Ottawa. I want to say either a year or two after Addie. Um and we were like, okay, this is happening. And so I started doing my research on my schools and everything. The girls who are a year older than me, they start going off to college and everything. They start committing to schools, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like I need to really start getting on my grind. I need to start locking in with football. Obviously, I never slacked, but just asking the right questions, talking to the right people, making sure that I was putting myself in the best position possible, because this is one of my dreams. And so I had to do what was best for me in order to get there.
And what was that recruiting process like for you? Because it must have been a lot different because usually when you think about recruiting, they're recruiting you for playing that sport out of high school, out of what you played there. But instead, this isn't a high school sport. You're playing through your clubs, and
Mhm.
so it's really focused on you sending out the film to the schools or reaching out to the schools. What was that like?
So it honestly isn't what a lot of people think. At these tournaments where it was just a pickup tournament or a regionals or a nationals, there would be college recruits, like college coaches who come and are at those tournaments recruiting and watching and taking notes on people and speaking to people. Um, so although we didn't have the same kind of opportunity as other sports would have when it comes to recruiting, um, it wasn't it wasn't as hard as people may think.
Yeah.
Obviously, yes, for the coaches who you haven't met and you want to attend a school, you would have to send out the film. But 9 times out of 10, there were college coaches at almost every tournament um, who were scouting and recruiting. I know my coach from Baker, Willie Perez, he was a coach for a travel team that we also used to play against as Fury, which is South Florida Elite. So he was one of the head coaches for that team, and then he ended up just watching. I think before he kind of made the official decision to become a coach at a university, um, but it was not really that hard or that much of a process. You just they come up to you or you go up to them if they're there. And then yeah, I think after he wanted to make a change, so he went to Baker and I started getting in contact with him more. I obviously I did talk to him quite a lot at the tournaments just as he saw things and he gave his opinion. He's a very opinionated person, which I really did appreciate that. I would go to him and I would complain to him about, oh, but this girl did this. And he was like, no, kid, you got to focus on you. And he's a really great person. And so, yeah, the recruiting process wasn't the same as typical sports, but it wasn't a very hard thing.
Mm. And so when was it that you decided that Baker was going to be the school of your choice?
Um, So I, at the time, I was stuck between Baker and Kansas Wesleyan, which they're both in Kansas, a couple hours from each other. Um, I think I really liked Baker because I had played with a handful of the girls in
Mhm.
previous tournaments that the coach had invited me to, that Willie had invited me to. So I played with them and I really did end up liking the girls. I got along with them and I really loved Willie as a person and as a coach. And I think that was kind of what made me want to go there because I knew I knew him, I knew what he was like. He had ties that I had dreams of being on the national team, and he's a national team coach. So it was kind of like I have those ties. He's a good coach. He can help me. He can help me get somewhere. He can help me grow. And so that was kind of my thought process. And so that led me to officially choosing Baker.
And Baker is still very new to the flag football scene. What is it like being a part of a program that is still starting up and still building what they would like to be in the future?
So as far as last year, it was definitely a roller coaster. We weren't a perfect team. Um, I want to start first saying that I actually am transferring from Baker. Um,
Okay.
so yes, but as far as being on the team last year, it definitely was a roller coaster. It was still a learning process, but I think the group from the second year, which this last year, I think it was much more put together. It was much more getting serious and getting a grasp of everything. Um, Obviously, we weren't a perfect team, um, but it was definitely still a lot of fun. It was a good learning experience, and I know obviously losing sucks, but when you lose is when you learn. Um, and being up there and being in the KCAC, playing against teams like Ottawa, who is I think the fifth time national champion now, um,
Yeah.
it was definitely they gave us a run for our money, or we gave them a run for their money. Um, there were a few times where we we had them at a certain point and we really thought that we could have won, but I think our biggest thing was that we needed to stay a little bit more humble. um I know there were conversations after losing to that team in that game, where Willie would tell us like, y'all got too comfortable in where y'all were. Y'all got too comfortable in thinking that y'all were kind of half-assing things a little bit, and if y'all think, I don't want y'all to think that just because you're half-assing that means that you can still get this far and that y'all are gonna win. Like, you need to go full effort if you need to win. And so it was just a learning experience. But I was definitely proud to be on that team, and getting those reps and being against that competition. um and I think that this next year they're definitely stacked. They're gonna have some really good players, and I can't wait to see what they do for this next coming season.
And so I'm sorry, I didn't even know that you were transferring.
Yes.
Uh, what is the new school that you're going to?
I'm transferring to Thomas University in Georgia. So,
Okay, and what brings you there?
so there were a few aspects that played into it.
Hmm.
A big thing for me is obviously I'm from Texas. I love being in the heat. I love being in the South. Being in that cold climate up in Kansas, being in the area. The campus itself was very beautiful, but there weren't there was nothing around. It was very much dirt and flat land, and to get anywhere you had to drive like 20 minutes to get to the grocery store. And so there was just a
Yeah.
lot, and the cold just wasn't really for me. um
Wasn't hitting.
no. And so I was just like, Thomas was a school that I had originally had eyes on before
Mhm.
committing to Baker. I did have a couple conversations with the coach, but it never really followed through with anything. And all in all, I was happy with my decision for Baker, but after being there, after getting the experience, I was like, I don't really know. And so I ended up making the decision to go to Thomas after there was the coaching was reevaluated. There's a new coach there now, and she recruited me, and I was like, yes, I want to do this.
And so how has the jump been, if there's really been a jump from strictly playing on your travel on the Texas Fury to playing now at the collegiate level? What has been the difference in that for you?
So the difference with that, the main thing that stands out is that the travel ball with Texas Fury was 5-on-5 and college is 7-on-7. So
Mm.
5-on-5 is definitely a faster paced game, fewer people, different rules. 7-on-7 was a game of patience, and that's not something I'm great at. Um, I know Willie, a lot of the times in practice when I was first starting to learn, he was like, Jojo, you need to be patient. You can't jump on something. Because in fives, I played linebacker and corner.
Mhm.
And once something comes your way, you jump on it. But it's different in sevens because there's a different pace, there's a blocker in sevens. And so it's just there was a lot that went into it, and I mainly played linebacker when I was at Baker. And so there was just a lot that went into it, and it's just like, okay, I gotta play in between these people. I can't jump on it too fast because then this could be open. And there was a lot that confused me, but I think eventually I did start to get it. In one of the videos that I had sent you, it was a video of me actually being patient, and due to my patience, I was able to get a pick. Um, and so that was definitely the main jump that there was. I think another thing is just obviously coming from a team that I've played with for years,
Mhm.
and that was a family, it was a sisterhood, it was so many different things, and then coming onto a team that, I'm not saying that they weren't a family, but obviously they hadn't been together for as long.
Yeah.
Um and there was always somebody new coming in. So it was just different rules, different personalities. There was a lot that played into it, but I think the fives to sevens was the biggest thing for me because the patience and the being careful and watching things slowly, that was definitely something that tripped me up.
What has been your favorite position to play throughout your time playing flag football?
Um, I would have
Do
to
you
say
like just sticking
corner.
to the defensive side?
Yes. Defense has been my main thing. I have played a little bit of center. Um, I was on the junior national team, and I did play center here and there, alternating with another girl on the team. But my main thing has always been defense, and it's always been linebacker and corner, but I'd have to say that corner is my favorite.
Yes, I forgot to mention. I had it written up here. You did play for the junior national team, and how was your time playing for them?
It was a lot of fun. We had a really good group of girls. It was a really fun experience being there.
Mm.
Um, Winning with them, getting the chance to stay in the dorms that we were in. We were in North Carolina at the time when we were playing in that tournament, and so we all stayed in dorms at a school in North Carolina, and it
Did
was
y'all stay at
fun.
UNC?
Yes.
Yes.
So it was a good time. It was a great team. I still keep in contact with a handful of them, and actually there was a good amount of the girls on the team who were actually on Texas Fury. So it was me, Addie Sheelick, Emma Clark, Marynell Thompson.
Mm.
Um I think that was all for Fury. And then there were other girls from Nevada or Massachusetts. I can't remember where else, but yes, there was most of it was Fury girls, but other than that, it was so cool being able to play against people from other countries. I think one of my favorite teams to play was the team from China. They were such a sweet team. I really had no idea about like how sweet they were. It was crazy because they would like pull your flag too hard and hand it back to you and say, "I'm sorry." It was like, oh my gosh. Like
Y'all
they
are
were
too
just the
nice.
sweetest. They were the sweetest people ever. And then we also the Canada team, honestly, it went right over my head that French Canadians were a thing. So I always thought that people from Canada just spoke English with an accent, and it didn't even cross my mind that they spoke French. And I heard them talking one time, and I was like, "What
What are they
is that?"
saying?
Yes, it it just blew right past me at the time, and I was like, "Oh my god, French Canadians!" And I was like, "Yeah," but they were also really sweet. We made friends with some of them too. One of the girls I still keep up with on Instagram here and there. We played against teams like Panama, Mexico, and but now there's so many more, especially in the adult world. For the adult national team, there's a lot of different teams from different countries, and it's so crazy to see.
Yeah, it must have been a blast to get the opportunity to play against people from all over the world that are some of the best in their areas.
It definitely was. I think one of the um best like competitors that we had was definitely Panama. I know actually Fury, we went to Panama. We were invited to go play in Panama at a tournament for an international championship, and we actually ended up winning. But those Panamanian girls are crazy. They're fast, they're shifty. They they can do all sorts of things, and I was like, wow. Like it was crazy being over there, but it was so beautiful there, and all the people were so sweet too. It's a lot of fun.
And so, what has the transition been like for you off the field, moving from your home here in Texas and then going now moving away from them? How has that transition been like?
Um, it honestly hasn't been that bad. Obviously, there have been times where I'm like, dang, I really miss my family. Like when school is overwhelming, or I am just away from my friends, especially. Because my best friend, I've actually been friends with her since third grade. Um, so it's
For a while
just
now.
yes, it's been a while. So there was just a lot where I was like feeling overwhelmed. But it hasn't been terrible because of me growing up traveling constantly for different tournaments and things like that. And obviously I would still call my parents. I would still talk to them every single day. Um so it hasn't been that bad of a change. I would still come home and see them, or they would come up to some games. Um, so sometimes I think it's better being away from home, because when you've been in one place all your life, I know family kind of can tend to drive you crazy. But it wasn't the worst thing.
And now, what is it that you're studying in college?
So I haven't officially decided that.
Mhm.
Originally, when I was at Baker, my first plan was to do exercise science. But then during my first semester, I took classes for that specific major, and it just didn't really interest me how I thought it was going to. So for my second semester, I kept the same major, but I chose my own classes to do that kind of went along with the different things that I wanted to do. So I took a biology class, I took a psychology class, I took a nutrition class, anatomy class. Um, because the different things that I want to do, I either want to do something which is like a anesthesiologist or a CRNA, which is the medical half, or then the forensic half, which is like a CI or a forensic psychologist. So I'm kind of torn. And so I think what would be best is to be a biology major, because I feel like that could kind of lead me into either direction. And so I'm doing the same thing as my second semester, where I'm just taking the different classes that could help me over here and over here.
Yeah, I just took the easy route. I took communications. That's the easiest easiest degree out there.
Well, I actually do have to take a communications or a speech class. So, yeah.
You should be fine in there. You should be good. This is practice right here. We're practicing.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a little nerve-wracking. I'm not great at speaking. So, actually, I know I mentioned to you in our text on Instagram, I was like, I'm nervous. I've never been interviewed
Yes.
like this.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely something new even to me because I haven't been doing it that long either. I've been only been doing it for like half a year, and
Hmm.
still it's every single time I get super nervous for an interview. Sometimes I get nervous just to send out the text sometimes. but
Yeah.
but I've started to realize, hey, the worst somebody can say is no. All right. So
Hmm.
I've been left on red so many times. It's at this point, it's all right. So and I've been blown off from a few people. So I just finally gotten over it. It's like just send out the text. Worst that can happen is they don't answer, they blow you off or whatever. So It just
Yeah.
happened.
I definitely wanted to jump at the opportunity because I know that this can be something big, but obviously I've never been the one who, even on Fury, like Ashley Clam, she was the one always getting interviewed, or Ava Wallace, she was always the one getting interviewed because they're like the bigger names. They're like they're great people, and so when you ask me, I'm like, should I go ask Ashley if she wants to do it?
Am I sure?
Yeah, but I'm glad I'm doing it because it's great to be able to talk and work on my communicating, and so
Yeah, and hopefully from through my podcast, I can introduce more people to who you are and to the flag football community, so they can go out there, watch, support more, and I just want to be a part of something that can build onto something bigger, that can be
mhm,
something bigger, and so that's really all I've wanted and all that I've tried to do, and so by you coming on, definitely helping so much from you being here. So I really appreciate that again. And so the next thing I want to talk about is I want to get a little bit off the field. What is off the field Jordan like, or what is she doing?
so at least for this summer, my days have consisted. Oh, oh no, sorry, I just got a call. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Um, my days have consisted of going to training in the morning. So I train with some of my old Fury teammates, Ashley Clam and Hannah Jays. Um, we go from training. We go from 11 to around 12:30. And then straight from there, I come home, eat, shower, and then I have to go to work. And then I work from 2 to 9. Um, or on days that I don't have work, I have training. We do training almost every single day. And then I'm also a coach for a 12U Texas Fury team. Um, so Tuesdays and Thursdays we'll have practice. Sundays we'll have practice. Fridays we've been having games, little syntax tournaments. Um, so yeah, my personality is I get along with most people. There's not really many people that I don't get along with. I don't beef with anybody for no reason. I'm a very fun, outgoing person. I do tend to have my introverted ways. But other than that, I try to just be a good person. Church on Sundays. I like to read. I like poetry. Um, Music is a big part of my life. I love my music. Um,
What's your favorite genre? What music you got bumping all the time?
I would have to go with R&B. I love
Mhm.
some good R&B music. One of the mains that I listen to, I love like 90s R&B, but also Party Next Door. He's
Yeah.
one of like my favorite artists. So I'm constantly playing him.
Is there a certain pregame song you got before you go out there on the field? Is there something you turn on to hype you up?
Um, there's a few. I honestly just have a playlist, and honestly, I'm so deep into my thoughts, even while I'm playing the song, that I don't even end up hearing the songs.
Yeah.
But I know a while ago, one of my pregame songs was called Movie by, I think it's Rio, the Young OG. And it was just a song that I was like, okay, like just getting into it. And
Every
then
time it came on, you started bumping your head.
after that it just all the songs kind of just like faded, and then it's just me and my thoughts, like thinking about what I'm gonna do in the game, how I'm gonna be, like how many flags am I gonna pull, how many picks am I gonna get, just things like that. And so the music eventually fades and I hear none of it.
And do you have any other like pregame routines? You got something that little rituals that you do or something?
um so growing up I've always had really like my hip flexors are always super tight. And so one of the things that I do a lot before games, obviously stretching, as a team, whatever, but then I do my own stretches on the sidelines, which is just like opening up hip flexors, A skips, B skips, C skips. Just you'll see me doing my own little thing on the sideline almost before every single game. Praying before the game. Nothing too special,
Mm.
honestly. That's about it.
Just the usual stuff that mainly all the people usually do.
Yeah,
Just a little
nothing.
few skips just to get loose a little more.
Yeah, I definitely being in college, me and my athletic trainer were stuck to the hip because I would always need her before the games. You would see me laying down on the bench and she would like dig her elbow into me and move my leg to help loosen it up, and just
Mm.
it was painfully amazing.
And so you still have a few more years left at the collegiate level. You still got a bit more time to go. What do you what are you looking forward to? What are you wanting to come out after your collegiate career is done?
Honestly, I'm just wanting to come out and being able to look back and say I did everything here that I wanted to accomplish. I grew as much as I wanted to or needed to while going to all these practices, playing in all these games, getting in all these reps, just being able to look back and not having any regrets of like minimizing my time. I want to definitely maximize my time anywhere that I go. Maximize my reps, maximize my effort anywhere that I go. I don't want to ever look back and have any regrets. That's a conversation that me and my dad have a lot. Is whatever you do, wherever you're doing it, give 100%. Even in something that has transferred from me from being a player into being a coach, is I tell my girls, if you come to practice and you're not at 100%, give me 100% of whatever you have. And I actually love that I chose to go into that coaching position, because while I'm teaching, I'm also learning from myself as well. And so
Mm.
I definitely like to go out and, even if I'm not 100%, definitely give whatever I can, because obviously being in college, being away from people, having these new experiences, you're going to have off days. And so I definitely try to give everything that I can. And I think even on my off days, especially if I'm like mad or something, I think I play better. So I think my body automatically just gives that extra push.
Well, have you thought about going into coaching also, or have you thought about after you're done playing and everything, coaching?
It has definitely been a thought. I think my new coach for Thomas, I don't know how long she plans to stay there or whatever the case may be. But if the opportunity comes up, I would love to do it if it doesn't interfere with. I mean, maybe I'll take a toll and I'll end up wanting to only do that. And if not, if I can do it as something on the side, I would love to do that as well, because it's definitely something that I'm passionate about. Because being a female athlete in the sport, I know the sport, I've been around it for years. I would have a lot of things to teach and a lot of knowledge for it. And so I think it would definitely be something that I would want to do if I had the opportunity. And I wouldn't turn down a challenge regardless. So
Well, Jordan, that's all the questions I have. That's all I got. And again, I appreciate you coming on and joining me. As I tell everybody who joins my show, you always got a fan in me. I'm always going to be supporting and supporting from afar. So no matter what, I wish you the best all the time. So again, thank you so much for joining.
thank you so much for having me. And I know, speaking for the whole flag community, we definitely appreciate what you're trying to do for us.
clock, never needed no wristwatch. Toast up, cheers to life, but this ain't no pit stop. Ayy, my work don't get you to the top. Speak life into the mic like Mike at 90, pass me the rock. My words of touchdowns on the block. Without a doubt, but she's a reassurance on me, we lie. Ayy, off the clock, baby, but we tuned in, dialed in. Feel like Cat, how we always winning, man. It's up.